Adam, I'm so happy to see you today. Um, Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
I know we've done these telemental health sessions before. This isn't our first time, but I just wanted to verify your identity and where we are here. I want to show you that I'm in a room by myself. It's soundproof. There's no one else here. And you as well. Can you kind of scan your room?
Yeah, I'm home alone.
Okay, great. So let's go ahead and get started. Tell me what's on your mind.
I think, I'm a little anxious with school. It's getting close to spring break, so there's a lot of midterms and big assignments, and I just want to make sure that I do well and that I'm on the ball.
So midterms are coming up and you're studying. I hear you say you're anxious and you want to do well.
Yeah, yeah. I've been having A's in the past, and I really want to keep that going. And I know that I need to do well in these classes for practicum coming up. And if I want to get a PhD, I'm going to need really good grades. But it's all new professors, so I don't really know how their tests are, and it just makes me kind of anxious.
I heard you say you are thinking about what happens after you graduate here. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I'm not totally sure what I want to do, but I am leaning towards getting a doctorate, so I can kind of open up future job opportunities. But I also fear and have worry that because I'm 32 in March, I'll be 40 with a PhD without much on my resume. So I worry maybe it's too late.
So you're thinking time has passed you by in a sense, and it sounds like you don't want to be 40 with no work experience, but a lot of school.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about those feelings of fear and anxiety.
Well, I think they're connected to maybe regret that I didn't have this realization sooner, that I wanted to be a counselor, but I also am grateful for my past in a different field. But I think a lot of my anxiety, um, I've had it for a while with different things. I think part of it is it's hard for me to just be content.
Say more about that.
I think that I kind of uh, I it's hard for me to allow myself to maybe be happy. I think I always fear things that, like, I have a trip coming up and I have anxiety. Well, what if I have an internship interview on one of these 3 days? I'll be out of Atlanta, rather than just be excited for the trip. Um, and I think anxiety kind of pops up in a lot of different ways, and that's kind of an example of how it's showing itself in the near future.
So you seeing this trip as a time that maybe you could be content, and yet you are predicting that you'll feel a little nervous, maybe worried about an interview that you have during your time that you've set aside for relaxing.
Yeah, and I think I'm already anxious about that trip even now.
Okay, say more about that.
Well, I'm just thinking, in the next coming week or so would be when, you know, internships might say, well, if you're, interested, you have to come to this location on Monday, whatever, when March 7th, when I would be away. Um, and so that's why I'm having it now, because it's kind of the actions I'm doing now will come into play potentially for that time period that I'd be away.
Let me make sure I'm hearing you right. So you're worried that while you're away, an internship would ask you to come to a location and meet with them, and if you don't come, you're not available, that maybe they'd pass you by.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I can see how that would be stressful and anxiety inducing for you, um, especially since you have big plans for what you want to do when you graduate.
Yeah. I want to hit the ground running in this field.
So what do you want to work on today and going forward? Um, what would be a goal you have?
I would say a goal would be allowing myself to be in the moment and be content.
Allow yourself to be in the moment and be content. I hear that. I think that is something we can definitely help you with, um, Adam. So, as I look at our time here and I see we're about to run out, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for sharing these honest feelings with me about the fear and the anxiety around, what's looming right now, your internship and the stress of going through interviews. But and also, what I've learned about you today is that you think ahead. You're a planner and you're thinking about, well, if this doesn't go right, then what about what's next? My PhD, and then am I going to be 40 with, no work experience? And I'm hearing a lot of questioning, uh, and a great goal to feel content in the moment. So I'm going to give an idea, and I want you to take it or leave it, or tell me something that you'd rather do. But how about between today and our next session, um, take some moments each day uh, to kind of take maybe a little litmus test of how you're feeling. Am I feeling anxious um, at certain times a day? So I want you to take it kind of like a 3 times a day, like in the morning, kind of check in with yourself. Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling neutral? Am I feeling content? Um, Midday, anxious, neutral, content, and then maybe like right before bed. And you don't have to do it every day, but maybe just like 3 or 4 days between now and our next session. Um, and it could be as quick as like like a frowny face for anxious, just a flat line mouth face for neutral, and a smiley face for content. But I just want to see kind of next session, let's look at it together and see how frequently you're having these feelings. How's that
Okay.
sound?
I think that sounds like a great idea.
Okay, great. So journal, and we'll meet back here next time.
Okay. Thank you so much.